Today I'm going to be bringing you a complete endgame blue hive guide. I'll be breaking down hive builds, bee quips, amulets, and RBC boosting. The main focus of this video is primarily to help you guys optimize your hive to its fullest potential. I'll also link a guide by my friend Sniper Thrilla in the description that covers tadalts and how to set them up. Anyways, let's get straight into the guide. Moving on to the first section of the amulets, I have the Supreme Star Amulet. So the ideal setup will include a Supreme Star Amulet with Pop Star and Star Shower as the two passives, and the ideal stats ranked in order of importance would be Blue Pollen, Convert Rate, Bee Ability Rate, Crit Chance, and then Pollen. A solo Pop Star with great stats, especially Blue Pollen, High Convert Rate, or High Bee Ability Rate, will outperform a 3 out of 5 Pop Shower Amulet that has no Blue Pollen or Convert Rate at all. So don't be afraid to run a solo pop until you get lucky with the strong double passive, because the good stats will often make you much more per hour than a bad stat double passive. And if you don't have a Supreme Star Amulet yet, I would recommend checking out an early game guide or an early blue guide until you can get to the Supreme Star Amulet. Some other inputs that I would like to note for the Supreme Star Amulet coming from me personally is that the three most important stats by far are going to be the Convert Rate, the Blue Pollen, and the Bee Ability Rate. A 4 out of 5 that has high stats in those three for a single passive will be much better than a 5 out of 5 that has super low amounts in those. Sort of like I had an amulet the other day where I had, compared to my normal one, which is technically a 4 out of 5 because it has Bee Gather over Pollen, my 7 bar, which is the max, 1.23 convert rate, and 65% Blue Pollen were all significantly higher than the 5 out of 5 double passive, because the 5 out of 5 only had 46% Blue Pollen and 1.14 convert rate. So therefore, that would have been a massive hit to the most important stats of my amulet, just in favor of the pollen stat, which is less helpful in terms of your all-time honey making compared to the three major stats for your SSA. The crit chance and the pollen still do play a role, but it is important to make sure that you prioritize the three most important stats of your Supreme Star Amulet over the other two. Okay, moving on to the next amulet. The next amulet I will be covering is going to be the Stick Bug Amulet. Here are the stats you're going to want ranked in order of importance. So you're going to want Convert Rate, Blue Pollen, Honey from Tokens, Blue Bee Attack, and Bee Attack. If you don't have Quest Grandmaster, you can actually prioritize Monster Respawn over Bee Attack, since the Monster Respawn will allow you to complete Polar Bear quests more efficiently as the mobs spawn faster. And Polar Bear is obviously one of the best ways to get the Quest Grandmaster for the massive buff right here, the extra capacity. So I do recommend running that if you need to get Quest Grandmaster still. The main stats you should really be caring about here, though, are going to be the Convert Rate, the Blue Pollen, and the Honey from Tokens. These are going to matter the most for your honey making, and these are going to matter the most for your overall in-game quality of play. The remaining stats aren't as important overall, but Bee Attack can help a bit in RBC. Monster Respawn Time, like I said, is great if you're grinding Polar Bear quests. And yeah, that's about it. Stick Bug's pretty simple. Try to get a diamond. Gold is okay if you can't get to the high score yet. You can still aim for those stats on the gold. Alright, now I'm moving on to the next amulet. The next amulet I will be going over is going to be the Cog Amulet. So for the Cog Amulet, the ideal stats you're going to be looking at are going to be Bubble Pollen, Blue Pollen, Ability Token Lifespan, Blue Bee Attack, and Blue Instant Conversion. By far, the two most important stats on this one are going to be the Bubble Pollen and Blue Pollen. The Cog Amulet is the amulet that will help most with filling your bag because of the Bubble Pollen statistic and the Blue Pollen statistic. As you see, I have 21 blue and bubble pollen, which greatly increases the amount that my bubbles do to fill the balloons for my hive. Ability Token Lifespan is likely the best third option, but Honey from Tokens or Nectar are also perfectly fine alternatives. Having a high enough ability token lifespan can allow you to remove Stubborn Bee from your Hive, which is amazing. And this is one of the harder ones for blues to get. A lot of people will be stuck with some gold cog amulets, and I will say if you have a gold cog, try to at least get the bubble and the blue pollen, or else you're gonna maybe have a bit of an underfill issue. If you can get a diamond or supreme, it'll greatly increase the stat. My blue pollen went from like 16 and like 12 bubble to 21 of both plus 5 ATL, which is a huge stat increase, and I really recommend trying to get a diamond or supreme if you can, especially if you're switching from red. Try to make sure you get a good stick bug, you get a good cog amulet with your red hive before you swap over to blue, because it'll be much harder once you make the change. Now I'll be moving on to the next amulet. The next amulet I will be covering is going to be the King Beetle amulet. So the ideal stats that you're going to want for this one are going to be convert rate, blue, flower, pollen, and bamboo pollen. Convert rate here is the most important stat. You're going to want to try to get that thing near max if possible. The max is 100. At the moment I have a 100% one with 97% bamboo. And Bee Gather is going to be, Bee Attack's going to be like a guaranteed stat on that. Unfortunately, I did not get the blue flower pollen on this, which is bamboo and blue flower pollen are both helpful if you're running Tide Sync and you are going to collect in bamboo because it's boosted or blue flower because it's boosted. I recommend both of them. And then this is one of the more simple ones. You're just going to want to get your convert as high as possible, and if you can, try to get bamboo and blue flower on it. The convert stat is the one that's going to matter the most here because it directly impacts your honey making at the hive. Moving on to the next amulet. The next amulet is going to be the Ant amulet. This is one that lots of people get supreme pretty early, but the stats can be hard to get in your favor. For the Ant amulet, the ideal stats you're going to want are going to be convert rate, blue pollen, crit chance, critical power, pollen, and white pollen. Just like before, blue pollen and convert rate are the most important, followed by crit chance and crit power. If you got those four at pretty good, decent stat amounts, you're going to be pretty solid on that. It's going to help a lot with filling, fighting mobs with the critical power and critical chance. It's going to help a lot overall with all of that. And this is one that you can sort of just keep doing until you get that high stat. Mine's pretty good. I have 107% convert rate, 1 Bee attack, 3 critical chance, 41 critical power, 29 blue, and 29 white. So yeah, this is another one, pretty simple. A lot of people are going to be able to get the supreme on this one pretty early, pretty easily. You're just going to have to do it until you get some of these stats on. I'd say it's worth running as long as it has blue pollen, good convert rate, and at least critical power or critical chance. Preferred if you have both of them, but if you only have one, I'd recommend running it. Moving on to the last amulet, the Shell amulet. Now, moving on to this Shell amulet, this is the one that'll probably impact you the least in terms of honey making. I will say though, getting a supreme is going to help you a lot over having a bronze or gold or silver or legendary or diamond. So the stats you're going to probably want on this one are going to be a high goo amount. You're going to want honey from tokens, and then other good stats that you're going to maybe want are going to be the convert, the pollen, or if you struggle with RBC, having a defense on your cog amulet will help you stay alive longer to get through the rounds. It'll also give you 4 random fields, which aren't too relevant because none of the fields it can give you will be blue fields. Mine happens to have 13 goo, 47% honey from tokens, 5% defense, and then the only blue field is going to be the stump field. So like I said, it's not going to be too relevant for you guys because you're not always going to have a dead snail, and you're not going to be able to go into stump to macro or to boost if you're trying to boost. So this is probably the least relevant of the amulets I've listed. The other ones I'd prioritize a little bit above this one. This is sort of just one you can work on when you have extra time. I do recommend once you have the time to work on this one and your other amulets are solid, I would try to get this to a supreme cog if you want. It takes 15 stump snail kills to get it to a supreme cog, or not cog, supreme shell. It takes 15 to be able to get a supreme shell, so it's going to take a while. It's going to take quite a while. Oh, gingerbread. It's going to take quite a while to get it to the supreme shell, but if you can, I'd say it's pretty worth it. Because the extra increases, the marginal increases for blue make you so much more per hour. It's hard to notice until you make that change. You just start making a bit more every hour, and that little bit adds up every single hour. So now that is the end of the amulets segment. The next part I will be covering is going to be the hive comp. So for a normal blue hive composition, you're going to want to try to keep a ratio of 2 to 1 for the buoyant tadpole bees. I'd recommend having, these are the mandatory bees that you should have in every blue hive if you're able to obtain the bee. You're going to want 1 bear bee, 1 tabby bee, 1 gummy bee, 1 festive bee, 1 gifted basic bee, 1 cool bee, 1 stubborn bee, 1 bumblebee, 1 bubble bee, 1 commander bee, 1 buckle bee, 3 music bees, 1 diamond bee, 1 ninja bee, at least 7 tadpoles, and at least 16 buoyant bees. This is for a traditional blue hive, not diamond meta. I will be covering that in a little bit. Some other highly recommended bees you could use are going to be looker bee, stubborn bee if you don't have a good source of ATL. Stubborn could be argued for being mandatory or recommended depending on where you are in the game. If you are lower, I'd highly recommend it. If you're higher, you don't necessarily need it if you have other sources of ATL like paper clips or your cog amulet or something like that. Having a 4th music bee if you don't have a 4th source of melody from a toy horn, a kazoo, a whistle, a melody charm bracelet, something like that, I would recommend to have a 4th music bee. Music bee is a great bee to have in your hive anyways. You get the melody, you get the focus, you get the token link. It's a great bee to run. I highly recommend during Bees Miss that you run a windy bee. This is not for the honey, this is for the snowflakes that you will get, because the snowflakes will greatly benefit you with all the bundles you can buy in the shop. Like the snow tiara, you can buy the terp pack, you can buy gifted eggs to donate to the thing, you can buy a star treat to help gift some of your bees. Highly recommend running windy during Bees Miss. And then I would also highly recommend a puppy if you are below level 20. If you have issues with focus and you have the antlers, puppy can also be a good alternative. I just think puppy is a good bee to run, especially also if you're under level 20. The gifted puppy 20% bond from treats is essential if you're leveling up your hive to higher levels, because the treat cost will increase for every level. And if you have no alt accounts, running a gifted fuzzy would be good for you, because you're going to need that fuzz boost in the field to maximize your honey making. And if you don't have other accounts that can do it for you, you have to sacrifice 1 bee slot to give it to your fuzzy. Some optional bees you can run. If you have haste and token link issues, a good bee to run is a shocked bee. The exhausted bee is good to run because of the 20% white field capacity. Also the token link, and it's a good bee to run bee quips on. Also infinite energy, so it's another good stat. The photon bee if you overfill, and the cobalt bee if you overfill have hive bonuses which give instant conversion, which will help if you struggle with filling. Photon is also infinite energy. It's a good bee to have. It has haste tokens, while cobalt bee has the blue pulse and the blue whatever. Those aren't too great, but he has the hive bonus to help with overfilling. If you need more bee ability pollen or gifted bee pollen, other good ones you can run are going to be a gifted shy bee for the 5% bee ability pollen, or the gifted lion bee for the 5% gifted bee pollen. They're both going to be good options. And then another optional one you can run, especially if you use the new kettle pattern with the digital stops, is going to be digital bee. Digital bee is also good because whenever you're doing your RBC boost, you can get some drives on it if you plan to switch to red later. But yeah, that's all for the normal hive comp. I will be now going over the diamond hive comp. And yeah. Okay, so for the diamond hive comp, this is highly recommended that you are level 20 plus and are able to get very far in RBC to get a RBC boost. You also are required to have alt accounts that can boost you if you want to run diamond meta. You need pretty solid bee quips, and the RBC blessing you should have should be at least a minimum of an 80x, preferably above 90. If you can get to 100, that's ideal, but obviously things happen. You might not always get that 100x. For me, I had a lag spike in the middle of my boost. I would have got 100x comfortably. Had to stand still in the field for 5 minutes. Lost a lot of my blessing. Had to settle with a 92. But yeah, You also need to make sure that the alts you have are going to be boosting your main, and if you can, try to sync them using the nature macro. I will link a video on alt accounts by Sniper Thriller in the description if you need help setting them up. But this is more so for the actual Hive itself, not for the alt accounts. So when you look at the Hive, what you're going to want is 8 to 12 diamond bees. You're going to want at least 7 tadpoles. I'd say 7 to 8 is a good margin. Personally, I run 8 at the moment. Yeah. And then I'd say you're going to want to do it like around 12 to 16 buoyant bees. You're not going to want a crazy amount. I've seen some people not be successful with less than 14, so I do recommend running over 14 unless you are able to have like all your buoyant bees with bar to produce the balloons efficiently enough for it. Then you're going to want to run bear bee, you're going to want to run tabby bee, gummy bee, festive bee, basic bee, cool bee, bumblebee, commander bee, buckle bee, 3 musics, 1 ninja. Highly recommended ones are going to be looker bee, stubborn bee if you need that ATL, 4th music if you don't have an extra source of melody. At this level you should probably try to get something like a melody charm bracelet to get that extra melody source. You also could run the windy in this comp for the extra snowflakes. It'll help out any level of the game. That's why I run it personally. The windy bee is great for getting more snowflakes, and also almost forgot to mention honey storm tokens. If you guys are struggling with finishing that honeybee quest and you have your alts turn on honey storms over the night, this will help get some passively every single night. And then puppy, if you are going to run antlers, is recommended as well. A lot of people do run the puppy bee. Puppy bee can be good, especially with the antlers. The antlers have a ability, the reindeer capacity, which gives extra capacity, but also if you struggle with focus, they give focus. So yeah. Some optional ones again are going to be shocked, exhausted, shy, lion, digital, and windy off beesmas. Like I said, for windy it's recommended during beesmas, but off beesmas you only really run it if you have terrible like token collection. I don't really recommend running windy off beesmas. But yeah, the same reasons apply to all the bees I just listed for the original thing for why you could run them, for more bee ability pollen if you overfill. But like I said, same things on that. So that's it for the hives, and then I'm going to be going over the mutations. Starting off the mutations, you're going to want to do, this section is going to be kind of interesting. So I'm going to start with the buoyant bees and the tadpole bees. So for the buoyant bees, ideally you're going to want a buoyant bee with bee ability rate. This is ideal in diamond meta and ideal in general, because what you're going to want, especially in diamond meta, that's what I'm going to mainly cover for mutations right now. I'll cover diamond meta mutations, and then I'll be covering normal mutations. For diamond meta, you want your diamond bees to be doing the bulk of the converting, so you want all of them to have convert mutations, obviously. But the issue is the buoyant bees, if they have move speed, they'll move faster than the diamond bees and convert more of the pollen that could be going to the diamond bee, which is the main way blue hives make honey with the diamond meta. So it is preferred if you have bee ability rate, so all it does is increase the amount of balloons it spawns rather than the amount of times it would be converting. Because move speed increases the bee's overall production rate. It increases how fast it gathers, how fast it goes converts, how fast it spawns its tokens. Bar just increases how often it spawns its tokens. So having bee ability rate is going to help a lot more than having move speed on your buoyant bees. Move speed is still going to be better than convert, but bee ability rate is going to be better than move speed for buoyant bees, because you want your diamond bees to be able to, convert more. The diamond bees converting is like the most important thing for your hive in diamond meta, because they have the rare passive, which is the shimmering honey, which allows them to gain 25% bonus honey, 2.5% per level, and it doubles if gifted. So they basically give like well over 50% bonus honey, and you want those bees to be the primary converters. You want them to be converting the most out of any bee in your hive. So then I will be talking about some of the other bees, which will be good to have move speed and bee ability rate on, because they're easier to get it on, which are obviously going to be some of your epic, your rare bees like Bumblebee, commander bee, bumblebee, or like a stubborn bee. Same goes for ninja bees or music bees. Move speed and bar is going to work great on those guys. It's going to also be good for your other events, like for instance gummy or bear bee. Tabby, I would say that it would be better to probably have move speed or bar than convert, but unfortunately my luck with Tabby is just not it. I have not been able to get that. You'd also want it on festive and windy bee. Windy is an optional bee though. I don't recommend like rolling for it unless you have a ton of extra materials for it. But yeah, you're gonna want to have it on all of your epics and all of your rare bees. So cool, stubborn, bubble, commander, bucko, music, ninja, all of them. You're gonna want to have move speed or be ability rate on, if you can afford it. If not, convert rate will work in their place if you cannot afford these expensive mutations, because like I said, move speed and bar are mythical mutations. They are going to cost a bit more in terms of bitter berries or royal jellies to roll for them. If you can't, settling with a convert rate mutation is totally okay. Convert amount is perfectly fine if you can't afford that. And then for the convert, you're obviously going to want it to be your diamond bees. Your diamond bees are going to want convert on all the time. And then outside of diamond meta, tabby bee, gummy bee, buoyant bees, and tadpole bees with convert are perfectly fine as well. They're fine in diamond meta if you can't afford the better mutations. So yep, that is true. You're going to want to try to get what did I get out of full screen? You're going to try to want to get convert on all of your bees if possible, and then go for the bee ability rates if you can, because bee ability rate and bee ability rate and move speed are going to be harder to obtain. The only bee that you're going to want gather amount on is going to be your digital bee. Really, that's the only thing you're going to want. Essentially, most of your hive, you're going to want convert. You're going to want bee ability rate and move speed once you get a little bit higher in the game and you can afford better mutations. But in general, you're going to want convert, and you especially always want convert on your diamond bees. They are your main source of honey, especially in diamond meta. And outside of diamond meta, just having convert is still going to help you convert more at your hive. Now that is going to be it for mutations. I would next be going over bee quips. Okay, so now for bee quips, the mandatory bee quips that every blue hive absolutely needs is going to be 2 pine cones. You're going to want 2 pine cones no matter what. They give the pine tree force capacity and pollen, which is amazing. One of the best hive bonuses you can have in the game. You're gonna want elf caps with honey at hive, preferably. Honey at hive elf caps are gonna help a lot. You get more honey at the hive, which is where the diamonds convert all your balloons, and you make the majority of your honey as a blue hive. It also gives the convert rate at hive bonus, which is obviously another great hive bonus. You're also going to need to run a comfort lip balm, preferably with gold bubble pollen. Gold bubble pollen just makes you fill your balloons so much better. The gold bubble pollen and bubble pollen high bonuses on this are essential. If you cannot get a gold bubble pollen one, it is alright to just run one with bubble pollen. If you cannot afford to purchase one with signs or vouchers, or you can't make one with gold bubble pollen, it's okay if you just want to run one with bubble pollen. The hive bonus will benefit you a ton no matter how good it is. It's just preferred to have gold bubble. Then the next mandatory one is going to be your snow tiara. Mine could be improved a bit, because the main stat you're going to want here is going to be the blue field capacity. Anything above 4 is alright to run. It's preferred to have at least 5, and if you're at my level, you're going to try to want to get 6, maybe 7. That is not a joke. That is like genuinely the amount you would want. You want 6 to 7-ish, because it's going to be expensive in that range, but if you can get one, it'll greatly benefit your blue field capacity, and it'll help you a lot overall. But yeah, and then the last mandatory one for blue is going to be your candy rings. Just a massive amount of honey at hive. It's just great for your at hive honey making. Candy rings are like one of the best blue bee quips you can have. And then some highly recommended ones that a lot of people run, including myself, are going to be toy drum. It gives you extra haste, and you preferably would want one with bee ability pollen. The hive bonus is very nice. It'll help out a bit. The extra haste is just great to have. It can only go on your bucko bee in your hive, because you won't run any of them, so you can only run one toy drum. But it's very, very, very good if you can run it. Another good one you can run is Bluefield capacity barrettes or capacity barrettes. Not this capacity. It's like plus 1%, plus 2% capacity. That type of capacity. That is caustic only though. Those are expensive and hard to get. But running a barrette is a good optional one. The Bluefield capacity helps. It's same with the Snow Tiara. Having 2 of these with 2 Bluefield capacity is basically like running an extra Snow Tiara. It'll help a lot with getting your Bluefield capacity up. I recommend running 1 to 2 of these if you can. If you don't want to, once again, they're optional. It's whatever you have that will work best for you. The next one that I'd recommend is very good. Is if you're struggling with convert rate, is to run Beesmas Tree Hats. The extra convert rate plus all the additional stats for the individual bees, I typically put them on diamonds. This one's on a tadpole right now. I'm going to move it to that diamond later, but these are great if you need to get your convert rate at Hive up, especially if you find yourself converting your balloons low. Adding 1, 2, or even 3 of these to your Hive can improve it a lot. I'm personally running 3 right now, but I will be removing 1 to 2 of them very soon. Another very good optional one that you don't need to run is a Melody Charm Bracelet. This one, pretty obvious. You get an extra Melody producer. You also get all these field boosts, and you can also possibly get a convert rate at Hive or honey at Hive boost. Those Mel Charms will be very expensive. I'm going to be honest with you. Those are going to be like 150 signs or more. But it's very worth it. And the field boost can be helpful, especially this 5% blue flower pollen I have on mine. It'll make it a little more valuable than just with the Melody and nothing else. The other stat that makes it important is the ability rate, because then it obviously spawns the Melody token more often. So, yeah. And then some other optional ones you can run that I don't, but plan to maybe in the future, are going to be reindeer antlers, preferably with the capacity Hive bonus. This is great if you want to run a puppy in your Hive. It gives the extra focus producing bee. It has the reindeer fetch ability, which allows you to get more capacity, and the capacity Hive bonus that you could possibly get on this, which is what I would need to do if I wanted to run it, would be great. Also, if you need a puppy bee to run for leveling your Hive still, this is a great thing to have on your puppy bee. It'll help you out a lot. And then the other one, which I highly recommend running that I don't run at the moment, is going to be a bead lizard with bubble pollen Hive bonus and good gathering bubble, preferably also with token link. They're kind of pricey though, and kind of a rare bee equip. Not as many people are trading these, but if you can get one, it's good. This is a pretty bad one. This is just one I made by accident, but I just needed something to show as an example. Bead lizards with the bubble pollen Hive bonus, gathering bubble, and preferably the token link ability. And then some other optional good ones are going to be Festive Wreath, preferably with honey at Hive, but you don't really need Festive Wreath as blue. I'm going to be completely honest with you, and honey at Hive, Festive Wreaths are pretty expensive. Bubble Light, if you have a Bubble Light with bee move speed and bubble pollen on it, it's pretty good. It's not required though. Another decent one you can run is Autumn Sun Hat. A lot of people run this for the white field capacity, the ability rate. It's a good thing to run. Personally, I don't run it. I might run one in the future if I get a good one with over 13% white field capacity and like 15% ability rate. But at the moment, I just don't run them. It's a good optional one though if you want to run it. Kazoo, I don't like kazoos, but if you need a melody source badly, you can run it. And then another one you could run is maybe a toy horn, preferably with bee ability pollen or convert rate high bonuses. This can only be run if you are running a lion bee or a cobalt bee for underfill or overfill purposes, and it will give you an extra melody source, so you can ignore having a whistle or charm bracelet or melody kazoo at the melody whistle at the time. As I just mentioned, the melody whistle could also be possibly good. Another decent one you could have is a bee move speed whistle. Bee move speed is just an overall good high bonus. It buffs all your bees. And then the other one, which I run personally, not a lot of blues run this. I'm kind of special with this one. I like running it, is the 1% bee ability rate high bonus peppermint antennas. I run them on Bear Bee, so he spawns his Bear Morph as often as possible. It also gives him +1 move speed, ability pollen, ability rate. So I just try to get the Bear Morph to spawn as frequently as possible, because Bear Morph is one of the best things in the game. Player move speed, jump power, 2x pollen. Like, having Bear Morph happen more frequently during your macros is just not ever going to be a bad thing for you. Having more Bear Morphs in your macros is always going to increase your honey per every hour. But yeah, that's going to round it up for the bee quips. So now I'm going to be moving on to part 5, which is going to be how to RBC boost. Part 5 is going to be RBC boosting. A RBC boost allows blue hives to get a massive hive balloon and a massive blessing. This blessing is good because you get extra capacity, extra honey, and hive. The way your balloons work, if you guys didn't know, this is why these boosts work. I'm going to explain it to you. A lot of people just explain how to do the boost. I'm going to explain why it works. If you look at buoyant inflate balloons ability, the capacity scales with your capacity and your bee's level. So obviously the higher level bee, the higher capacity the balloons are going to be, which is good because the balloons are going to be larger, which allows you to then get more every hour of macroing because your balloons are going to be larger and they increase the pollen in your balloons by the 0.1% per level as well. So that's the leveling side of it. If you look at capacity though, it scales with your bee's level and the capacity. And for it to track your capacity, it takes the highest capacity you've had over the past I'd say around 15 minutes or so. So with the ability to get capacity upgrades in Robo Challenge, you're going to be able to get this massive capacity. And with this massive capacity, the balloons will then scale to that massive capacity, not your normal boosting capacity, along with the B level. But scaling to that massive RBC capacity is what allows for you to get these bigger balloons and get this massive balloon blessing, because the bigger balloons can hold more from the boost you make. So overall, that's just going to help you get the bigger balloons. So my tips for how to get this high capacity, I'd recommend boosting after round 20. It's a pretty good benchmark. I typically boost off of round 22 to 24. 21 is okay, and 20 can also be alright if you have the capacity needed. It's a benchmark. It's not really as strict. You have to pass 20, you have to pass 21, have to pass 22. It's not strict like that. It's wherever you reach a desired amount of capacity. And that desired amount that I would recommend if you want to go for 100x would be a 1 trillion plus capacity. And the way you'd obtain that is by getting all the capacity upgrades you can within the RBC. Some other buffs to help with rounds and also to help with the actual boost itself. Before you start, make sure you have the following buffs actives. You want Sticker Stack, you want Mondo Boost, you want Snowflakes, you want Smoothie or Purple Potion, you want Blue Drive, White Drive, Glitch Drive. These are optional, but if you want to use them, make sure you use them before you end the challenge. Marshmallow Bee, Reindeer Capacity, Potion Blessing, and also if you want and you're struggling with getting the pollen, you can get a Festive Nymph Blessing or Robo Party Blessing. The way that you do this boost is you get the high capacity from getting the upgrades, and then before you end the challenge, let's say I had 1.2 trillion capacity on round 22 and I'm ready to hello B, and I'm ready to boost. That would mean that before I end the challenge, because you cannot boost within the challenge, your balloons do not save. It's the capacity it saves for that 15-minute period. Keep in mind, remember that. So in order to start it, after you get this massive capacity, you end the Robo Challenge. But before you end it, you have to pop a Blue Drive, White Drive, and Glitch Drive if you have all three. That is because each drive directly affects your capacity. You can pop a Red Drive if you want. It's not going to do anything at all. White does the least out of the three that I recommend. Blue and Glitch do quite a bit more. I recommend popping those three. It'll give you a big capacity boost, usually a few 100 billion at that stage. And then I'd say for around 12 to 13 minutes, you just boost as normal without converting. Do not convert a single time. During the boost, I'd also recommend you grab the Turn in a Honeybee quest to get the honey conversion for the next 30 minutes. You'll just make more honey when you do convert your balloon eventually. But I'd say boost for around 12 to 13 minutes. And at that mark, I'd pop a pink, red, white, and black balloon if you have them. because very soon you're going to have to go back to your hive to convert. It's very helpful if you want to have someone look like at your hive telling you if it's deflating a lot and what it's at. It's good to gauge when you should try to like pop your balloons and go back. 12 to 13 minutes is like a rough estimate. If there's something that you like maybe screw up you didn't know or like lost track of time, it'd be better to have someone there telling you like when it's going to start deflating, what it's at. That'll give you like a better idea of when to pop your black balloons, stuff like that. It also save you honey, because if you don't know that your balloon's deflating and you're just going off the timer, then you're going to lose out on some honey. You will still get the same blessing, but you're just going to lose out on honey. And then once you're ready, once the time is up and you're choosing to go convert, go and equip honey mask and pop a whirligig. Traditional for blue. You should understand how to do that if you're a blue hive. You go honey mask, whirligig back, and then you convert, and you should have your big balloon blessing there. There's plenty of people who have done it live. I have some mid runs on one of my second channels, I believe, where I got like 80s blessing just by like doing a chill one off around 20 about a year or two ago. If you want to see those, I'll link those in the description. And then so the upgrades that I specifically recommend for doing, the essential ones are going to be the capacity upgrades. I'm talking defragment, which is 1.5x capacity. You're going to want expansion, that's 1.25x capacity. You're going to want RAM capacity. You will want SSD, that's also capacity. You're going to want to try to get HHD, which capacity. You're going to want to try to get cloud, that's capacity. You're going to try to want to get optimized, that's also capacity. Those are the ones that are going to increase your capacity. But obviously, you're a blue hive. Your attack's not going to be as good as a red hive. So if you're struggling with doing damage and getting through the rounds, there's a bunch of other upgrades I highly recommend. Some of which are the upgrades that add more cogs to your inventory per round. Like credit is a great one. So is botnet. They just add a little bit of extra cogs per round. APM's great because it gives it like a little bit extra collector tool speed. So is blue screen. Multi-thread is one of the best ones. It allows your bees to spawn any type of token while they're in a battle. So like you can start spawning Inspire tokens while there's too many mobs on the field. Let's say you're struggling, you're on a white pollen quest, can't kill everything. Multi-thread, you can spawn Inspire, you can spawn Bear Morph still on the field if you have those bees selected in the challenge. And then I'd also recommend VPN, Saturate. VPN, it gives extra dodge chance. Saturate, that's blue bee attack and colorless bee attack. Those are basically all your bees. Virtual Pet's a very good one. 10% bee move speed. 1.5x scratch pollen. 3x fetch pollen. If you are running the puppy bee. Respect red is a good one. You get extra blue pollen and white pollen and lose out on red. Wouldn't recommend that one as strongly though, because if you get stuck with the red field quest, it's going to be miserable. Proxy's great. Haze tokens grant dodge chance. Pop-up's great. You get blue bee attack, bubble lifespan, and 2x bubble pollen. Invert's amazing if you're struggling with red pollen. Bubbles collect 4x from red pollen. It's a great one to have there. FOV is a nice one. One extra option with choosing upgrades. It allows you to get more capacity upgrades per round because there's an extra chance one of them could pop up. F5's good. Quest reroll if you get a terrible quest. The Mark Gate is a good one. Mark tokens grant extra critical power. B-Bay. B-Bay is a very good one. Extra option with choosing bees plus 1 cog per round. It's just really helpful if you're trying to get some event bees like Bear Bee or Tabby Bee, or you're trying to get some more tadpoles specifically if you're in Diamond meta for whatever reason. It's just going to help a lot. Some other good ones. Reboot is just a free quest reroll. Another good one is going to be Bluetooth. Bluetooth is probably the best one if you struggle with attack. It's 2x blue bee attack and 1.25x blue pollen. So that's what I recommend with that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the RBC boosting segment. I'm going to do one final segment where I just give some personal tips and advice. Alright. If you're still watching this guide right now, this is me after the most recent update came out with an extra B-Quip slot. All the stuff I've said will still apply. The mandatory ones are still going to be mandatory. You're just going to have that extra option if you do finish this new Dapper Bear Quest sticker style. I guarantee you these stickers are going to cost a fortune for a little bit, but after everyone figures it out, it shouldn't be too bad. I just wanted to say I really hope this video was helpful for you. I hope that you guys are going to be able to make more honey per hour. I hope this is going to help with any confusion you might have had with amulets, or with how to do RBC boosting, or what mutations and B-quips are good for blue. If you have any questions about actual nature macrographs and what it means, like let's say you're making like bad amount for a certain hour and you want to know why, feel free. Give me your Discord in the comments, and I'll be answering any questions on that. I've looked at graphs for quite a while, so I can typically identify the type of issue, whether it be overfill, underfill, or if it's like not getting enough melody tokens per hour, not enough focus, whatever it is, I can usually help you out with that and recommend a way to like fix that. I also just wanted to say, as a lifelong blue Hive, I really enjoy blue. It's probably my favorite color. I don't know if I'll ever switch. If I do, it's gonna have to do a lot of RBC first and work on getting the digital drives up. But yeah, I make pretty good hourlies. I will probably not disclose exactly how much for the topic of this video, but if anyone wants to know, I'm pretty open about it on my Discord. If you want to join, the link is in the description. There will be a new server at the time of this video for anyone who wants to join. And then my final thing I wanted to say is I will not be uploading for a while. I'm going to be gone for a few months, but that doesn't mean I won't be back. I will always be back. I love this game, and yeah, I hope everyone gained something valuable from this. Maybe you're not even a blue Hive, you're just watching for the love of the game. And for those people, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate it. If there's anything that I have not mentioned in here that revolves around blue Hives, please let me know, because I will be dropping a Google Doc as a guide as well, along with this video a few days later. And if there's anything I missed out, I would love to add it to the Google Doc. I try to make this video as thorough as possible without actually physically showing you an RBC boost or physically showing you mutating my Hive. Just like more so going over the basics of what you would want, what you would need. Yeah, if there's anything else you guys recommend about blue Hives that I didn't cover, please let me know. And that's about it. Hope you guys had a great time. I hope this wasn't too boring for you guys, and I hope your honey days are going great. Hope your business is going great, and good luck with all your quests. Bye, guys.